Back again for another video. On today's video and discussion, we will be talking about compromise and principles. I want to make that very clear. The focus will be on principles and dealing with women and principles. So, what is it to be a man? It is many things according to society. It's not one thing or another, but one thing that is consistent amongst all men, no matter how low or high, is their masculinity. Now, masculinity requires that you have some level of principality to you. This is the reason why women can also show a certain level of principle, because they react to the same things the same way all the time. Femininity at its core is chaotic, which means that it is inconsistent. So it takes a masculine principle in order to maintain some level of consistency. This is how everything interacts, masculine and feminine. Feminine is chaotic, masculine is the order, and within order is consistency. So women are able to exhibit some level of consistency through their levels of masculinity. They also have them. Some are higher than they should be, but nonetheless, this is how they exhibit it. So even the lowest common denominator of man has a certain level of masculinity to him. Now, in this masculinity, like I said, consistency is key. You have to have some level of consistency in order to be considered masculine, period. So when it comes to consistency, this plays off of principality. Principality, once again, is the resolve to consistently do something. No matter the circumstances, no matter the situation, no matter where you are, no matter the environment, whatever, you are consistently going to do something no matter what. That's the core of masculinity. But anyways, how does this pertain to women? What is their job? Their job is to test the environment and to scrutinize it. This includes you. This is where the shit tests come from, but I'm not here to necessarily talk about those or go into detail and describe them. But we all know what shit tests are. But they're going to push. They're going to try to find cracks in your armor, cracks in your masculinity. The reason why is because they're here to do a job. They are meant to scrutinize the environment, including you. It's just that sometimes it goes overboard and they have too much free reign on doing this. That's when it becomes toxic, like I mentioned in my previous video. But a healthy woman is going to scrutinize you. She's going to test every nook and cranny of that room. She's going to look for the cracks. She's going to look for the inconsistencies. This is her job. Your job, masculinity, your job, consistency, is to show her that you don't budge. Now, when I say you don't budge, that doesn't mean that, once again, the other side of the topic is compromise. Doesn't mean that you do not compromise, but what you should not compromise is your masculinity. And how you differentiate the two is because your masculinity, once again, are a set of principles that you follow regardless of the circumstance. This does not encompass everything. So everything outside of that, you can compromise on that. But everything inside of that, you do not compromise on that. How this plays out. So when a woman gets the ability to scrutinize you, which she shouldn't have a lot because you should be keeping her busy anyways. But when she gets the time and the ability to scrutinize you, the opportunity to scrutinize you, she's going to check for those cracks. And this is the difference of how women categorize you as a masculine man or a simp, because they're looking for what makes you weak. What are you going to fall for? What are you going to compromise your masculinity for? And that's how they gauge your level of masculinity. They say, oh, he'll completely back down on what he said just because I gave him a little ass. Yeah, they're going to view you as weak in your masculinity. I mean, because that's literally the definition of a weak masculine man, is one who compromises on his principles. So when a woman starts to scrutinize you, you have to stand strong in your beliefs, not because you want to impress her, not because you want to win her over. This is the man that you should be, regardless of her scrutinization and your possible desire of wanting her in your life. This is who you should be regardless. Remember, that's his definition of principles, meaning that they apply no matter the circumstance. When a woman sees this and she's looking for a man with high masculinity, she is going to latch to you 9 times out of the 10. How do I know this? From experience. This is the reason why women draw to me, because they see a certain level of consistency. And it's not only just the consistency, it's the proof of outcome inconsistency, meaning that I'm this way not because I'm stubborn, but because it works. See what I'm saying? If a woman sees you doing some stupid shit over and over and over again, even though you're consistent, she's probably not gonna go for your masculinity unless her femininity is at that level. There are certain thresholds that accept that. You know, that's the reason why we have the men and women together who we have together, because there are different levels to this, meaning that a certain level of femininity cannot discern a high level of masculinity if it is lower. So you may be a super consistent man, but she may not value that because her femininity doesn't give her the discernment to see the value in that. Get what I'm saying? So when a woman starts to scrutinize, she is checking your masculinity. A lot of people call it shit test, but I don't necessarily like to consider that, because shit test implies that it's something that is unnecessary, or is something that is overboard, or is not needed. But I don't look at it as that, because I want a woman to go ahead and try to shit test me, because her shit test to me is my everyday life. That's the way I look at it. I've witnessed plenty of situations where I've dealt with a woman and she was shit testing me the whole time, and I never even noticed, because this is who I am. I don't care about any test that I pass or fail in regards to what a female requires in her life. I don't care about that, because I'm going to be me. I'm here for a purpose, and that purpose is in her. So that's not my fixation on making sure that she is pleased in my behavior. Get what I mean? I'm doing me. You feel me? So when it comes to dealing with women in that regard, you should never look to a woman as far as her. She shouldn't validate your masculinity. You should validate your masculinity. I mean, because that's essentially, to me, when you take in account how many shit tests a woman's given you, you looking at her for validation through her test. I don't care. Personally, I don't care. I don't care whether a woman wants to try to qualify me or not, because it's either you with me or not at the end of the day. You know, I like to look at masculinity as a blunt object. You know, it's very broad and it gets the job done regardless of what it is. It can be a nail, or it can be bending metal, you know, a heavy piece of metal. You know, it can be used multi-purpose. Now, yes, granted, using a sledgehammer on a small wood screw is a bit overkill, but nonetheless, it gets the job done. Whereas I look at femininity as a scalpel. You know, it's a very specialized tool, and it's very, sharp. You know, it's got a level of finesse that you need in order to operate it properly. And the reason why I look at that is because when you compare a sledgehammer to a scalpel, there's no contest. The sledgehammer is going to win every single time. If you were to take a sledgehammer to a fight versus a scalpel to a fight, the guy with the sledgehammer, as long as he knows how to use it, no matter how skillful that person is in using the tool of the scalpel correctly in the way it's supposed to be used, that guy with that sledgehammer is going to clobber the other one with the scalpel. And that's kind of how I look at masculinity and compare it to femininity. You know, my masculinity is going to stand the toughest of times, and anything that you throw at it, that little scalpel, really doesn't mean anything, because my job is to apply a broad spectrum of masculinity across the board, whereas yours is specialized and very direct to figure out what needs to be done in a specific finesse kind of way. I have no finesse. I don't need no finesse because I'm me. My masculinity speaks for itself, and it is a bludgeon. If you do not, it can aid you in what you want to accomplish, or it can completely destroy you. It's all about how you choose to view it. So I don't necessarily care about how a woman is trying to use her scalpel on me. I'm a damn sledgehammer. You get what I'm saying? You know, but men, I off the top notice a weak masculine man. I can notice if I can notice it, then definitely her specialized tool of femininity can notice it, because I'm a sledgehammer and I can see it, you know, right off top, like, oh man, this guy is weak in masculinity. How I know a man is weak in masculinity, if we call it getting a battery put in your back here in the manosphere, but I call it, you know, simping. Plain and simple, simping. I mean, if a woman can make you crack, if she can give you, if a woman can give you anything that she has in order to compromise your masculinity, you're weak. You have weak in masculinity. I mean, you could be a strong guy. You could bench press 275, but if pussy will make you put it down, you're weak. You have nothing on me. We're not in the same league. Get what I mean? So, men, be careful be cognitive of how you interact with women. Make sure that the reason why you're doing what you're doing isn't because a woman is granting you something or denying you something. That should have no effect on your masculinity, because your masculinity should dictate what you do in your life, not what a woman does or doesn't do. She's chaos. She's going to be, the reason why she's with you is because she needs an anchor to the reality. She needs someone to make sure that they're consistent, because she's not. Most times, 9 times out of 10, she's not. That's the reason why women are in the condition that they're in. It's a result of their own nature. Not to say that it's a good or a bad thing, but that is the female condition nonetheless. Your masculinity is different from that. It's meant for your purpose. Your masculinity is not meant for women. Now, women can be a part of your purpose, but they should not be the main focus or all of your purpose. Like, for instance, you know, we talk about pimps and hoes over here, you know what I'm saying? Not on my channel necessarily, but in the manosphere. We talk about these things, and a pimp's focus is keeping his women straight, you know, keeping them in line, keeping their minds good, you know, making sure that they doing what they're supposed to do. The women are his focus. Granted, the money is a byproduct of it, and it could be the most of the focus. But in his profession, a pimp has to caretake for his women at some level, so she is part of his purpose, you know. But you as a truck driver, why is your main focus women? If you as a medical provider, why is your main focus women? Why is women a large portion of your focus? Why? You know, all the professions that men do in this world, I can't understand all the things and the purpose that men have in this world. I can't understand why a woman would be your main focus. But that's not for me to judge. I'm just here to give the knowledge. This is the way I see things. But anyways, keep your masculinity in line. Never compromise because of what a woman offers or what she wants to give you. But anyways, until next time, like, comment, and share. Well, not until next time, but like, comment, and share. Until next time, catch me on Facebook. I'll upload videos there as well. Well, if you have a special request, definitely leave it in the comment section and I'll try to get that video up. But this has been a Wolf in Beta Clothes. May you have a good day and peace be with you.